Hey everybody, Davey here from Davey's World Fishing. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Googan Squad Clickbait. These are awesome little baits. Not a lot of people are talking about them, but they definitely get bit. Stay tuned. All right, guys, if you happen to be a spotted bay bass fisherman, a lot of times you're going to be out fishing in and around eelgrass. These are going to be either shallow water eelgrass flats. They could be a little bit deeper, but a lot of times you're going to be over some sort of eelgrass. Now, whether you're fishing a big spinner bait, a regular dual bladed with the big bait underneath spinner bait, or a chatterbait style bait, which I absolutely love, one bait that you should really take a look at is the Googan Squad Clickbait baits. These baits are phenomenal. They make a ton of noise out in the water. So much rattle, so much noise. What makes them kind of unique from the actual chatterbait bait is the chatterbait actually has a fixed head there, right on the bottom there, and that's where the blade fully attaches. You're gonna get all of your movement, all of that craziness right in that head of that bait. Now the Googan style clickbait, different pattern, different bait, is it's got 3 bearings that are right above that head that lead to a wire. It's got another bearing right at the top there behind the blade, and then a really big free blade. As you can see, that blade is pretty large compared to your standard chatterbait, and it makes a ton of noise. Now fishing these baits, very simple and very effective. To rig it, I like to put a nice long paddle style swim bait on the back there. This happens to be the Fish Lab soft swim bait. And if, depending on the time of day, whatever you're gonna do, different colors are phenomenal. These bait heads come in all kinds of different colors, from dark to really lights. I always enjoy the white color heads with the white or the light or the bone colored tails. And if I'm fishing in some low light conditions, whether it's early morning or maybe right at dusk, I'll fish the darker style bait. So a darker head with a darker tail that just gives it a different profile against that really light overhead skies. It's getting gray and dark and everything else. But to fish this bait, very simple. It's a nice long cast. Get it out there as far away from you as possible. Let it get down to the bottom and then start cranking. Generally, this kind of bait, you're going to be fishing with a bait cast reel. I'm sure you can do it with a spinner reel as well, but a bait cast reel is just going to give you a bit more control on it. So nice long cast, get it out there, let it get down to the bottom. And some of my favorite spots are only 3 to 4 feet of eelgrass too, so it doesn't have to be very deep, doesn't have to be super shallow. Get it down to where you want to go, give the rod a jerk, then you'll start it feeling, you can feel that blade actually thumping over there, and you want to make sure that your bait's actually moving. Start cranking, just start working that bait back. You'll feel it on the rod tip. Work your way back. If it gets dull, if it's and then as you're cranking, you don't feel anything anymore, give that rod a jerk. A lot of times you're going to get some eelgrass that might be hung up in there, but you want to make sure you're feeling that as it's working through the water. If you're up near the surface and you're seeing your bait, if you're going a little bit too fast, the bait's going to come up to the top. You'll start seeing a V wake. Slow down, let that the bait sink all the way back down to the bottom, and you want to stay near the bottom. Another good tip might be long cast, get it going, slow it down, let it get back down to the bottom, work it, crank, let it sink back down. Because what's happening is, if I cast it way out here, as I'm up here on my kayak, this bait is going to be slowly coming back up directly to my kayak. So I want to come up here, I'm going to stop, let it sink, it's going to come back up, stop, let it sink, it's going to come back, stop, let it sink. So you want to let it go as close to the bottom as possible. So as you feel your bait coming up, just slow down even more. If you think you're going too slow, slow down. Keep that thing moving as long as it's thumping, thump, 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 right along the top of that eelgrass. Now that eelgrass is going to be sitting down there. It's either going to be flowing with the current in one direction, or it's going to be straight up and down. However it is, it's underwater. You want that bait to get down there, and you want it to be right above it, even touching it or brushing it. If you're just brushing the tops of those blades of grass down there, you're not going to get caught up in the weeds. If you get down and it's all mushy down there, then you're going to hook it and you're going to get a bunch of that blades of grass on there. So you'll be able to tell if you're going too fast or too slow. If you're going too slow, you're going to bring all that grass back and get snagged up. If you're going too fast, you're not bringing any grass back with you. But you'll be in the right zone when every couple second cast, you're peeling some grass off your baits. It's just what happens, but that's where those bass live. Those bass are actually hunkered down inside of that eelgrass, and they're looking up. Their eyes are big, and they're up towards the top of their head, and they're watching for anything to swim by on that grass. And when it does, they're ambush predators. So they're going to come out of that grass, and they're going to absolutely attack that bait. That's what makes these baits so effective. These baits as well as spinner baits. Check them out. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below and subscribe to Davey's World Fishing up in the right-hand corner. See you out on the water.